Hello, and a warm welcome to Reddit Echo.
They say that houses have memories, that the land itself can hold on to things, echoes of joy, whispers of sorrow, and sometimes a more stubborn presence that never truly left. My family learned this the hard way. When I was 8 years old, we traded the sun-bleached, bustling streets of South Florida for the deep, shadowy quiet of a small town in North Florida. The move was like stepping into the pages of a forgotten book. Our new home wasn't a new build. It was a house with history, set against a backdrop of dense woods that seemed to swallow the sunlight. For 15 years, we lived there, and in that time, we grew accustomed to the oddities, the unexplained footsteps in the attic, the feeling of being watched in an empty room. We called them the house noises and learned to live with them. But we were just guests. It wasn't until my sister moved back in that the house decided to make its presence truly known. Years later, my sister, a strong woman in her late 20s, found herself in a difficult position. Her husband, a soldier, was deployed to Afghanistan. She was left alone in their small trailer, deep in the woods, with a newborn son. The isolation was crushing. The silence of the woods, once peaceful, became oppressive when paired with the exhausting, round-the-clock demands of an infant. Not wanting to face the soul-crushing loneliness, she made the decision to move back into our parents' house, the same old house in the North Florida woods. It was meant to be a sanctuary, a place of support, with grandparents to help with the baby and the familiar comfort of family. Her old bedroom became a nursery, filled with the soft sounds and smells of a new life. For a little while it was, but the house, it seemed, had taken note of the new arrival. It started subtly. My sister would be jolted awake in the dead of night by a loud thump, as the heavy wooden headboard of her bed slammed against the wall. At first, she dismissed it. The house was old, it settled. Maybe she had kicked it in her sleep. Then, one morning, she woke up not to a sound, but to a sensation. A light, skittering touch across her ribs. Fingers, ghostly and cold, tickling her side. She swatted at the air, her heart leaping into her throat, convinced it was a bug or a stray thread from her blanket. But there was nothing there. Just the cold, empty air of the room and the slow, dawning realization that something was very wrong. She kept these incidents to herself. She was a new mother, sleep-deprived, stressed. She didn't want to seem hysterical, but the house was just warming up. The breaking point came on a night that still chills me to the bone. A blood-curdling scream ripped through the silent house, my sister's scream. It wasn't a cry of surprise. It was a raw, guttural shriek of pure terror. My mother, a woman who has faced down more than her share of life's hardships, was out of her bed in an instant. She threw open my sister's bedroom door. The scene inside was something out of a horror film. My sister was in the center of the bed, clutching her sheets, her face a mask of absolute fear. And the bed itself, the entire heavy wooden frame, was rocking. Not just vibrating, it was heaving, violently, up and down, side to side, like a boat being tossed in a storm. It was a physical impossibility, a display of raw, poltergeist-like energy that defied all logic. My mom, with a courage I can only marvel at, didn't run. She marched over to the bed, grabbed my terrified sister, and pulled her out of the room. That night, they slept with the lights on, but no one truly slept. For a while, things were quiet. The house seemed to be listening. But the presence was still there, a watchful, restless energy. The final straw came on a quiet evening. My sister was sitting in the rocking chair, nursing her infant son. The room was peaceful, filled with the soft, contented sounds of the baby. Then she felt a hand grab her ponytail. It wasn't a gentle tug. It was a firm, aggressive grip that yanked her head back sharply. She cried out, shielding her baby with her body. This time, my mom didn't respond with fear. She responded with a mother's ferocity. She stormed into the room, her eyes blazing not with terror, but with anger. She stood in the center of the room, and in a voice that was low, stern, and absolutely unwavering, the voice you use with a misbehaving child, she laid down the law. "I understand things are different," she said, her words cutting through the tense air. "There's a little baby here, and there never has been before. You're curious. I understand that." She paused, letting her words sink into the very walls. "But you will not touch them anymore. You can look. You can stay. You were here before us. But I swear to God, you are not allowed to touch them." And just like that, it stopped. The violent shaking, the physical touches, the aggressive manifestations, they ceased. The presence didn't leave. We could all still feel it, a quiet observer in the corners of the house. But it had heard the boundary, laid down by a matriarch protecting her family, and it respected it. My sister finished her time living there without another physical incident. Her husband returned safely, and they moved into a home of their own. To this day, when we visit my parents, the house still has its noises, but it never crosses that line again. That experience taught us a profound lesson about the nature of these things. It wasn't a demonic force to be exorcised, but a territorial, perhaps lonely spirit that needed to be shown its place. My mom, with her unwavering courage, didn't fight it with holy water or rituals. She negotiated with it. She acknowledged its existence and established a rule of coexistence. In that old house in the North Florida woods, a truce was declared, and a mother's love proved to be the most powerful force of all.
Don't want to lose this channel and always be up to date with new videos? Then make sure to subscribe. The story continues, and it's only getting more interesting.